Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. First of all, thank you to every single person that showed me love on my last video, every single person that liked, left a comment, shared, or even just reached out to me to say, hey, that's a nice video. I really appreciate it. If this is your first time on my channel, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to my channel. On this channel, we talk about beauty, fashion, and a lot more stuff in between. And today we're going to be talking about one of those in between things, right? If you're somebody that's been struggling with how to get the best content out of your camera, the best quality out of your camera, then you would want to stick around on this video. Or if you're somebody that's looking to start a new YouTube channel and you don't know where to start or what equipment to purchase, what you need, then stick around. We're gonna break it all down in this video. Let us jump right into it, guys, without wasting further time. Alrighty, guys, let's get down to business. So I'm going to be looking at my phone, obviously, because I have a lot of stuff written down just so I don't skip over anything or forget to mention anything. So yeah, let us get into it. Get your pen and paper and be ready to write stuff down. I'm kidding. Jeez, this is not class. I'm really feeling like this is a master class. Gosh, I need to stop this rubbish. Okay. All right, guys, let's get serious. Let's get into this. Alrighty. So first things first, obviously for you to shoot, you need your equipment, right? What camera should you get in 2023? Honestly, to answer that question, it really just depends on your budget and what you're looking to do. Because there's cameras in different price ranges, and really obviously the higher you go, the better quality you get, right? But like if you're starting off and you're on a budget, I honestly don't think you should go break the bank and get the best equipment in the market, especially if you're still learning, you know, how a camera works all together. I think you should just take you one step at a time. I'm not saying get the most basic camera out there, but like get a fairly okay camera and then start from there. The better you are with, like, you know, camera and settings and how to use a camera, then you can upgrade your equipment as you go. Or if you really have a lot of money to spend, then you can go for it and get, like, you know, the latest camera in the market and then learn on the job pretty much, right? So anyway, to answer the question, I do my equipment is, turns out they made this camera in 2003. Is it 2003? 2013. Jeez, my brain. So first of all, what camera do I have? I have a Canon Rebel T5i. This camera was made in 2013, based on my research. I'll double check that, but yeah. I think this camera was made in 2013. If I'm wrong, I will put the correct date on the screen. Not date, geez, year on the screen. But yeah, this camera is a Canon Rebel T5i. I have probably over 4 lenses, but I really use 2 lenses the most. When I got this camera, it came with a kit lens, which I probably used for my first YouTube video ever, or my first and second YouTube video or something. And then as I learned about, you know, how a camera works and everything, I realized that I wasn't really feeling that lens. So I went and got myself another lens, which is the Yongnuo 50mm lens. I'll explain what all that means in the near future. Anyway, so I got the Yongnuo 50mm f1.8 lens. And also I have the Sigma 30mm f1.4 lens, which is the one I'm shooting on right now. It's the one I mostly shoot the bulk of my content on. I do use the 50mm as well sometimes to film like makeup looks and stuff, but in general I use my 30mm lens, which is the one I'm using right now. So let's take a step back and break this stuff down, right? So for your camera, honestly, like if you're starting off, I definitely recommend just getting something. It doesn't have to be T5i. You can get T7. I don't recommend you get anything lower than the quality of my camera, to be honest. You can get something above this, but definitely a Canon T5i paired with a good lens will still get the job done as it is doing right now. It just really depends on how you work your camera. Now, this camera, when I purchased it, I didn't buy it new. I bought this camera off somebody on Marketplace. I think they had just bought it. They were looking to sell. I don't really, at the time, honestly, I was just looking to start a YouTube channel. I didn't even know what to look out for when you're purchasing like a used camera from somebody else. I just saw a camera, T5i. I was like, I watched a couple of YouTube videos. I was like, okay, that person uses T5i. Whatever, I'm going to go get T5i. And so I got it, right? So I would say when you're looking to buy a used camera, always look out for the shutter count. Make sure that it is not overused. Because if it's overused, then it's almost like you can't get that much use out of it. Or it's just not working properly anymore, right? So make sure that the camera you're getting is not overused. Make sure the shutter count is not too high. I'll put like a good range to look out for shutter count when you're buying a camera. I'm going to put a good range for the shutter count here, somewhere here on the screen for you, on what to look out for. Just buy the camera body. Don't buy the lens. Don't let them sell you the full kit. So I find if you get the full kit at a cheap price, I got mine $500 in 2019 or 2020. I can't remember. And I think it was 2020 thereabouts. I think was when I got my camera. I'm not completely sure now. But yeah, I got mine for $500. It was the entire camera and the kit that came with it. You may want to go for like maybe T7 thereabouts just to get something a bit more upgraded than what I have right now if you're looking to do that. Or if you find T5i with shutter count that is not too high, you can definitely go for it. So the reason why I say that you shouldn't buy the kit lens is half the time the kit lens that come with all these cameras, it's just not the best lens, right? Like there's camera and then there's lens. Those are two different entities. Gosh, I hope I'm making sense. So if you're starting off, you honestly don't need more than your camera and one lens. So with the lenses, there are two different types of lenses. We have prime lenses and zoom lenses. The zoom lens, obviously, as the name implies, you can zoom in and out. You can make images closer or further away with the zoom. While the prime lenses, you cannot zoom it in or out. You have to physically move forward or backwards, or you move the camera backward or forward. So the prime lenses, they don't move. They don't zoom in or out. You have to move, or you move your equipment. So that's the difference between those two. I have prime lenses only, except for the kit lens, which is a zoom lens. I'll probably get a zoom lens in the future, but I'm not too crazy about a zoom lens. Right now, it's not priority for me. So I have my lenses are prime lenses. So the 50mm, what you need to know is the higher the number, the closer the lens. I'll make it make sense. That means a 30mm lens is, if I'm standing 2 feet from a 30mm lens, this is what I look like. If I'm standing 2 feet from the same distance from a 50mm lens, I'm going to appear closer. So let's just take, for instance, I'm going to get up. Let's just say this is a 50mm lens, right? And no, this is a 30mm lens. And this is what I get from, the 30mm lens. So if I put a 50mm lens on my camera right now and I don't move my camera, I keep it in the same position, I'm probably going to appear like this close to the camera. I hope that makes sense to you. So the higher the number of your lens, the closer you appear on your camera, or the closer you appear, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense. So yeah, if you have a 50mm lens, what you need to consider is how much space do you have to film, and what kind of content are you filming? If you're only filming makeup looks or maybe food even, or stuff that have to be close to the camera, then you're Gucci with a 50mm lens. But if you're going to be filming outfits and stuff, then I don't recommend a 50mm, except you have a very, large space to film, to the point where your camera is all the way on one end of the room and you're standing on the other end of the room to catch your complete look, if that makes sense. So if you're looking to film outfits, I say get a 30 mm or 35 mm or anything above, or anything not above, below. I recommend you get anything below 30 mm. So I'm not above 30. So we're talking 30, 25, and anything lower than that you can get, or you can get a zoom lens. Just make sure it's a good zoom lens. So once you get your camera, the first thing I want to say, see, I can literally kneel down and beg you, do not ever, ever, never, ever, ever be basic for nobody. Listen, if you're shooting in any other mode other than manual, you're being basic, okay? Let's just get real. That's basic. You don't want to do that. Never shoot in AV, P mode, TV, whatever all those other modes are. I don't even really know what they stand for. Never shooting any of those modes. Always shoot in manual mode. Now, in manual mode, what that does is it gives you control over the overall quality of your production. Like, it gives you the power to decide how you want your video to look. So that's what shooting in manual mode does. If you're shooting in any of those other modes, it's like the camera has already preset what your image is going to look like. And so what you see is what you get, or what you see is what you have to take. You can't really do much about it. So you don't want to do that. No, we're not basic. We are not doing that. We are going to be shooting in manual mode, and we're going to have control over what we're doing, because I'm going to show you how to do it. So there's like a ton of videos on YouTube that kind of shows you what all these different things means on a camera and how you can adjust it to your liking. But for me, in this context and in the spirit of making this as simple as possible, when you're shooting on manual mode, you only need to worry about 3 things. You need to worry about your ISO, you need to worry about your f-stop, and you need to worry about your frames per second. So that is if you're shooting a video. Everything I'm saying right now only applies to video. Some of them you can take and apply it to taking pictures, which is a different ballgame entirely. Well, not that different. I'm being extra. But yeah, everything I'm saying right now really just applies to you shooting a video. My camera shoots in HD 1080p. I think that's the highest my camera can go. So, but when you're post-production, like when you're editing your video, you can always bump it up to 4K on your software. But my camera shoots, the highest my camera shoots is in HD. It's an old camera, so bear with me. Yeah. So anyway, always only shoot in manual. Like, I cannot overemphasize this. Always only shoot in manual mode. Like, if you have any questions about, some things, or how to tweak 1 or 2 things on your camera to get the best out of it, you can always reach out to me or refer back to this video. Your ISO, you're going to see that on your camera. That kind, I don't have like all the technical terms for these things, so I'm just going to make it as simple and easy as possible. So the ISO is like your exposure. So if you bump it up, and it makes your video brighter. Brighter, when it comes to exposure, does not always mean better. When it comes to exposure, I always keep mine at 100. 100 is the lowest number you can get your exposure to. So always, this is my recommendation to get the best quality. Always keep your exposure at 100. If anything, get lights, right? If you have good lights, your video is going to be bright at 100 exposure or ISO. Your video is going to be bright. If you have lights, it's not going to be dark. If it's dark, I can tell you a few other things that we can move around. But you want to keep your ISO at 100. If anything, shoot with natural light. Like, my window is right on this side. So if there's any day I feel like I don't want to use light, I just put my camera back in the window so that I can use the natural light and film with the natural light. So if you can't afford to go and get lights or whatever right now, you can always, again, shoot with natural light. Just make sure you keep, at best, you want it at 200. just to get the best quality out of your camera, I always just keep mine at 100, which I also learned when I started my YouTube video, right? Sometimes when I kept it at 200, 400, the whole image just looks overexposed. I'll show you. Let me bump my ISO up to, I'll bump my ISO up to 200. Right now I'm at 100, right? Not too bad, not too shabby. Let's bump it up to 200. Look. This is what it looks like when you bump it up to 200. This is 100. We take it back to 100. This is where we like it. This is a good number. We love it here. So that is what your ISO or exposure does with the camera. Let's talk about lenses. When you're getting a lens, what you need to look out for, especially if you're looking to shoot like YouTube videos, you want blurry background, you want that bokeh background, is what they call it, bokeh or whatever. Bokeh background, right? Depends on, first of all, how close you are to the camera and the distance between you and your background, right? So mine is pretty far away, so it's not too close. Anyway, I say all that to say that when you're buying a lens, as I mentioned earlier, my Yongnuo lens is 50mm f1.8. I'll tell you what that means. And this one is 50mm f1.4. So to say it in the like easiest, uncomplicated way possible, the f-stop really just means that is how much light comes into your camera. The value in front of the F on the lens really symbolizes how blurry your background is going to be. So for instance, an f1.4 lens is going to be more blurry than an f1.8 lens. So if you're looking to buy a lens, really, again, all this depends on what you're looking to film. Personally, I recommend you get lenses that are not higher than f2 at best. The lower the number of the f-stop, the blurrier you can get your background and the more light is able to come into your lens or your camera. I hope that makes sense. Just to summarize that, if you're looking to buy a lens, again, I recommend, that's just me based off my experience, buying a camera that is not more than f8, f2 at the highest, f2. You can go lower, but I don't recommend you go higher. Again, if you're looking to film content for like YouTube, videos for IG that are not vlogs, if you're looking to shoot vlogs, you don't really have to worry too much about these things I just mentioned. But like for sit down videos, tutorials, whatever stuff like this, then I definitely recommend you get a camera that has a low f-stop number, so that at least you can get that blurry background and you won't have everything in focus. I'll show you guys another example. So if I come closer, I'm just gonna wait for my camera to focus on me. So the closer I get, the blurrier my background gets. The farther I get, then the more my background goes in focus. I hope that makes sense. So I'll show you guys something else. If I bump, right now I'm shooting on f1.4. So right now, this is what it looks like if I bump it up to f2. So you're going to be needing more lights. You're going to be needing to maneuver a few things on your camera to make sure that you get, a bright background. And what this does is, if you look at my background, it's not as blurry as it was before when I was in f1.4. I'll take it back to 1.4. And we're back. I didn't touch my lights. I didn't change anything with my lights. But when I went back to f1.4, obviously my background is blurrier and the picture is overall brighter. So I hope this makes sense. So yeah, like I really hope that I'm making sense and I'm not just talking a whole lot of gibberish right now, just so you guys can understand this and how it works. Alrighty guys, this is essentially my setup. I had two of this light that were standing, but I broke one of them, so now I just use that as like my background light. And yes, I still have my ring light. Ignore that table. So that's my what's it called, reflector, and those are like my brushes and stuff. So yeah, I pretty much have this light standing and my ring light. It depends on the day and how much light I get. Some days I could just use my ring light. Yes, I still have a ring light. I would give you guys recommendations of like newer and updated, more portable lights that you can use instead of these, because I've had this for like years and I consciously decided I'm not gonna buy new equipment. The only thing I'm upgrading is my camera, at least for now. I have no plans to update these lights or upgrade these lights right now until I actually take YouTube more seriously. Then I can think about, well, not more seriously, I mean like until I am, I can't say full time, but like maybe until like I maybe get monetized and I'm making money off YouTube. Then I can start like spending money and getting lights and all that. But camera is something I don't like to compromise on, so I'll definitely upgrade my camera. But definitely this light, this two lights really is what I use. And of course I have my backlight, so I usually just put this on like a little stool down there if you see it, and I just sit on here and I'm against this wall. That's so what that one does is it pretty much just lights up my background. Like I can do without it, to be honest, it will still be fine, but I just like that extra pizzazz that it gives me. Yeah, so lately for my what's it called, for my IG content, I've been filming against this plain wall. So I use, believe it or not guys, I use my kids IKEA chair to film my my what's it called, my IG content down here. So I just use my kids IKEA chair, put it down. It's really, it hangs really low so that I can use that plain white wall because of my lights, in case I want to change the background color and all that stuff. It's always good to do that against a plain white wall, or maybe like cream, but something really neutral, right? So yeah, this is like my light setup. Nothing too crazy going on here, just a good old ring light, and I have two of this light. But I don't recommend these lights anymore, honestly. Like they are way better and more portable lights now, so I do not recommend these. I will put like a link in my bio for lights that I recommend if you're starting off right now and you want to get lights. But yeah, I make this work just because like I know how to maneuver these things. But yeah, so for lights, this is my setup. Nothing too crazy. Ignore my brushes, just ignore those. But yeah, this is what I have as far as like filming setup goes. So yeah, let's move on. So just kind of going over everything again. We've covered like cameras and the basic functions, the lights, the lenses, and what that means. Yeah, in conclusion, as I mentioned, three things. If you take away nothing from this video other than like your camera, apart from like your lights and your camera and your lenses, as far as your camera setup goes, take away these three things. Always make sure that your ISO or exposure is as low as possible. If you can keep it at 100 every single time you shoot, that's good. You can bump it up every now and again when you're outside or in a low light situation. If you have to, then definitely go for it. But try to keep it as low as possible just to get the best quality out of your production. So second thing you need to consider is your f-stop, right? So you already went and got your camera, you got your lens, and your lens is maybe f1.4, f1.2, or f2. What you need to consider with the f-stop is, number one, if you want a blurry background, you lower the f-stop number. So you want to take it to the lowest f-stop possible with your lens to get a blurry background. However, if say you're shooting like food content and stuff like that, and you obviously don't need any blurry background because the focus has to be on the food that you're shooting, right? So that you can bump up your f-stop. Third thing you need to take away from this, especially if you're shooting videos, is your shutter count. So if you're Always shoot at, well, it depends on the frames per second that your camera can shoot, right? Mine cannot go lower than 30 frames per second. I think some cameras can go as low as 24 frames per, some lenses or cameras, I don't know where that comes out of, to be honest, can go as low as 24 frames per second. No, I think that settings comes out of your camera for sure. As 24 frames per second or whatever, but mine goes up to 30 frames per second. I can go higher, but I definitely can't go lower. So yeah, sometimes I shoot at 1/40, 1/50. I don't go higher than 60 if I'm inside. Like, I only do that when I'm outdoors. Sure, I can bump that up because my camera is getting enough light anyway. But when I'm indoors, definitely I am somewhere between 30, 40, 60 at best if it's like a really bright day and the light coming from outside is just way too much. Then I can bump that up. But yeah, that one should be somewhere between 40, 50. So one thing you need to also know about the shutter speed is that the higher the shutter speed, the darker the darker your picture also gets. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. For me, if there's anything you need to move around, you can move your shutter speed around, and you can move your f-stop around. But your ISO is the last thing I move to make my picture bright or my videos bright, or to make it appear brighter. That is the last thing I touch. I'd rather add more lights. I'd rather add more lights to what I'm filming, or reduce my f-stop or reduce my shutter speed before I even touch the ISO, because that just messes up the quality of like your production of your video. I keep saying production, jeez. That just messes up the quality of your video. So try as much as possible to not touch your exposure, your ISO, which is the same thing as exposure. If there's anything you need to move around, like I said, move around your shutter speed, move around your f-stop. Let ISO be your last resort. So I hope everything that I have said so far today makes a little bit of sense to somebody, or it at least helps somebody looking to understand how to work their camera, or anybody that's looking to start a new YouTube video channel. Rather, this helps you in choosing what cameras to get and what kind of lenses to get. If you have any further questions, feel free to put that in the comment section below. I will definitely be more than happy to answer any questions at all for you. You can DM me on IG even if you like. Anything related to what we talked about today. If anything's confusing, if you can't put that in the comments, you can DM me on IG and I'll be more than happy to go over a few things with you. That is enough talking for me today. I'm going upstairs to eat. Seriously though, I hope this helps at least one person out there understand how a camera works a little bit better than when you started this video. Yeah, so that is pretty much it for me. If you enjoyed this video, please like, leave me a comment, share the video with your friends, your family, your loved ones. I'll definitely appreciate it. If there's anything you'd like to see from me, feel free to also put that in the comment section below. My channel is not really about all this techie stuff. I'm more than happy to make another video if I get a request to do so. But other than that, we're going to be back to business as usual. I have an updated eyebrow tutorial on my Instagram. So definitely be sure to go on my IG and check that out. I also have a makeup tutorial for this simple, easy peasy look. Just like a simple everyday makeup look, nothing too crazy. If you're interested in checking that out as well, feel free to head over to my IG. Now in the description, I'm going to put a few camera options there for you. I can put a couple of high ends for people that have the budget to afford, but for people that have the budget for that, I can put a few high ends cameras, some Canons, some Sony camera right there for you guys. And I'll also link the lenses that I mentioned and some that I know to be good as well, even though I don't have them. I will put them in the descriptions as well. Light options I will put in the description for you. Oh, don't forget your mic. you do need a mic. You can either get a lapel mic or you get one of them mics that they mount on the camera. I don't have those. I've never used those. I've always had my lapel mic. This is probably about $25-$30 on Amazon. I will put that link in my description as well, because you don't want to use the audio coming out of your camera. That's just, nah, that's a no. We don't do that over here. So I'll put a link to the mic in the description as well. But I think I've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to cover today. If there's anything I'm missing or any other questions you have, feel free to, like I said, reach out to me. Put that in the comment section, or reach out to me on IG, whatever you feel comfortable doing. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm all good either way. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching my video till the end. Thank you for attending this class. I hope you learned one or two things from this video. If you want more videos like this, let me know. I'll be more than happy to make one for you guys. Other than that, I think we are pretty much good for today. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. We mostly talk about beauty and fashion, and again, like everything else in between, like today, right? So yeah, definitely more vlogs to come. I see that you guys actually liked my previous video, which had a few like more vlog clips in there. And like I said, if there's anything else you want to see, feel free to let me know. All right, other than that, I think we are good for today. Bye for now, and thank you again for watching.